What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I wanna talk about Steph Curry, right? And how, in my opinion, Steph Curry threw a wrench in in that LeBron James GOAT argument, especially not just from a basketball standpoint. Like, everybody knows that Steph Curry in championships, he beat LeBron James. Like the three championships out of the four that he had, three of those he beat LeBron James, right? And so you never saw that in the Michael Jordan era. Michael Jordan prevented a lot of great basketball players from getting rings, right? But so this right here, this situation, this dynamic is new when you have a situation where LeBron James lost to somebody in his era and they had the same amount of rings, but LeBron James lost more often than won against them. This would be like Wilt Chamberlain, like people saying that Wilt Chamberlain outplayed Bill Russell when you had Bill Russell sitting there with 11 rings, and Wilt Chamberlain, I think, has one, right? And so to me, like I said, Steph Curry messed this up not just from a basketball standpoint, but when you think about Steph Curry, what he represents as a player, and I have a video. Well, I have some audio, some audio that I'm gonna play, and it goes into Steph Curry. It just seems like it make more sense to have Steph Curry be the he. It would be better to have him the face of the league. He persevered. Number one, he stayed with one team for his entire career through thick and thin, through ups and downs, right? He stayed with that one team. Then on top of that, Steph Curry is, what is he, 6'1", 6'2", and what he is more attainable for the average person. Like when you look at Steph Curry side by side with LeBron James, most people not going to be 6'9" and 200 and what 40 to 60 pounds. You know, that's most people not going to be as big as LeBron James. But Steph Curry looks like the average dude. He's 6'1", or I say about 6'2", and can shoot. So that's something that a lot of people can do. That's something that people people can work towards, right? And so Steph Curry, I think what he represents though is what like I think like evil forces, dark forces didn't want to, they didn't want Steph Curry to represent the league, because it only makes sense if you're trying to promote the right things, then you want Steph Curry to be the face of the league. But if you have other things that you're trying to promote, then Steph Curry is not going to be your man. Right. So with that being said, I want to play this video, and they kind of go into why Steph Curry. I'm playing the audio. It kind of go into why they didn't want Steph Curry to be the face of the league. And so let's listen to the audio. Then I'm gonna come back and give some more of my input.
So, when you strip away the accolades, strip away the numbers, and focus purely on the story, on how greatness responds to resistance, Steph Curry's journey reads far more like a GOAT story than LeBron's. And that raises a real question. How can LeBron be the greatest of all time if a contemporary of his lived a stronger champion story? But if you think this was all Steph Curry did to damage LeBron's GOAT case, we're still missing the biggest part. You see this kid right here? You probably already know what he's about to do next. He's not trying to overpower anyone. He's not backing someone down in the post. He's pulling up from deep because that's what he's seen. That's what he's grown up watching. He's imitating Steph Curry. And that detail matters more than people realize. It's not that nobody looks up to LeBron James. They do. Most players respect him, many coaches respect him, and maybe 50% of fans respect him as well. The truth is, LeBron's greatness is built on physical tools that almost no one else has. You can admire it without believing you can become it. Steph is different. Steph's game feels accessible. It's built on skill, touch, timing, and confidence. Things kids can practice. things they can imagine themselves doing. When you zoom out, this becomes another piece of the GOAT picture. Steph beat LeBron more often on the biggest stage. Steph has a more powerful narrative. But now, Steph also owns the cultural side of the era. People didn't just watch Steph, they copied him. And it wasn't only kids in driveways. The NBA followed too. Before Steph, pull-up threes from that range were shots coaches hated. Players got benched for taking them. After Steph, those same shots became part of offensive game plans. Spacing widened. Big men were asked to shoot. Entire offenses were redesigned. That shift didn't happen in theory. It happened because one player proved it could work at the highest level. So when the GOAT debate comes up, this part can't be ignored. Greatness isn't only measured by accomplishments, it's also measured by influence. And in LeBron's era, the player the game moved toward, the one people tried to become, wasn't LeBron. It was Steph Curry. The 90s were built in Jordan's image. The modern game was built in Steph's.
And see, I definitely agree with that. And like he said, when these guys, like players today, when they're shooting those long threes, it's not frowned upon. You know, back in the day when you shoot a whole bunch of threes, man, you would either get pulled out of the game, or they would tell you stop shooting. Stop shooting because 3-pointers they're a lower percentage. They wanted you to work in the back in the day to get a higher percentage shot. Whereas though nowadays, man, teams live and die by that 3-pointer, which I don't always like it. It's not always aesthetically pleasing. I do think that the mid-range is coming back. But looking at Steph Curry's career, even going back to his college days in Davidson, I think to me is more, like he was an underdog. He went to Davidson. A lot of no big schools really were interested in him. Then he get to the NBA. He didn't shine at first. Was almost traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, and then boom, things started to, they started to click for him. Now you talking about a guy who has 4 championship rings, the same as LeBron James. Come from a 2-parent household, his background and stuff like that. So everything really lines up. If you are the NBA and you're trying to promote the right things, you're trying to get kids to follow this type of lead from somebody who sets a good example. And not that LeBron James don't, but his story, Steph Curry's story, is more accessible. It seems like it's more reachable, right? And it seems like a story that's what you want to, you want kids to I think it's better for the game. Now, what the difference between LeBron James and Steph Curry is LeBron is more polarizing, than Steph Curry. And I think that's what they want. Some people feel that Steph Curry is boring, which I think boring is good. I think, like if Steph Curry shot like this back in the day when Mike and Bird and all those guys, when there wasn't as much of a demand for drama and polarizing, stuff that was polarizing, then Steph Curry, he would be received differently. But today, because of this, all these different social platforms, and there's a big appetite for anything that's polarizing, then and negative negative content. That's why Steph Curry, I think, is not as he's not as really pushed as far as like being a face as like LeBron James is, right? And so, but as far as LeBron James his GOAT argument, Steph Curry messed that up. Steph Curry had the same amount of rings that LeBron James had, and like I said earlier, he beat LeBron James 3 times. He won 3 of those rings against LeBron James. And so that's not something that you could say about Michael Jordan. You can't say that Michael Jordan, lost the majority of time to somebody. Mike beat everybody he played in the championship. Mike is 6-0. So there's no argument between Mike. But now this argument between Steph You can make an argument between Steph and LeBron James. And for some reason, this the league does not want to push. And I think, like I said, it's because Steph is kind of like he's a good guy. He's not polarizing. So they don't want this image anymore. Like I said, back in the day, they wanted this when it was not that much appetite for negative content. But now that they want to push this negative content, they want somebody who's more polarizing. That's what that's what this is all about. It's not about what really happened on the court or what the truth is. It's not about the truth. It's about it's about clicks and views. And LeBron James right now is the one who gets the clicks and views, and that's the way that they're going to go. Whether they feel like this situation, whether he's telling the truth or not, you know what I mean. That's it's not about truth or honesty or doing the right things or setting a good example. It's about being polarizing, and so that's why Steph Curry is not the face of the league, but he still messed up that GOAT argument when it comes to LeBron James. And that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.